It is May the 24th, 2022, and we have more dumping on Sligo Mill Road. As you see, the chief of police and the government can't do their job, but they can go around harassing law-abiding citizens and conspire to do criminal activity within their town. So let's get the police out here to take a report of this illegal dumping on Sligo Mill Road. Takoma Park Police Department. Takoma Park Police Department.
Takoma Park Police Department, Dispatcher Cooper. This line is recorded. How may I help you?
We have some illegal dumping on Sligo Mill Road. I would like to have an officer come out here.
Sure. On Sligo Mill Road, what's the closest intersection?
Closest intersection is going to be Sheridan.
Sheridan.
It's right behind the Mid-Atlantic Seafood Restaurant.
Okay. Okay. I will get somebody out there. Be advised, we have an emergency call going on right now, so it's going to be a moment.
All right, thank you.
No problem. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
They have an emergency when I just seen 2 or 3 of their officers down in Langley Park riding around. I'm pretty sure they know who this is and this situation. Well, this is the corruption that goes on in this little town of Takoma Park, run by terrorists. The citizens and the taxpayers need to get rid of them. Mind you, there are cameras out here, and this is a camera. As you see, the leaves are hiding this camera. How are you going to get a good picture when the leaves are hiding this camera? They're not trying to do their job. If you don't comply to what they're asking you to do in this little town, they harass you and try to intimidate you. And that's what they thought they could do to me. Intimidate me and harass me to get me out of their little town. That's not going to work. People come back here and just throw their garbage all over the street. The volunteers come out here. And mind you, look at this camera. This camera is lined up with this pole. You move out this way and you can get a better view, but it's lined up with this pole. How in the world are you going to take pictures when you have something blocking your view? Now the young lady say they have an emergency. How many police they got? 2? Every time they go to a call, it's like 100 of them. 25 of them came to illegally evict me. So all 25 of them have to respond to an emergency in this little town. That's the bull that they play. But I'm telling you, taxpayers and citizens, you need to clean house, starting with the mayor of Takoma Park. I call her the daughter of Bin Laden. And then her brother, the chief, and the little siblings, the lieutenants, the sergeants, and captains of that little police security force that they have. All criminals. Let's see how long this emergency, when I just seen several of their officers in Langley Park just riding around. Got boxes dumped out into the park. We have to start making these people do their job and correctly. And if they don't do their jobs, give them the pink slip. Get him out of there and let somebody else come in there that will do the job. Without attitude, without retaliation, do the job they're getting paid to do. All this attitude and trying to intimidate citizens who make them do their job. You can believe what I'm telling you, citizens. I'm not the only person they tried this with. Several individuals of this town have told me that they would have retaliated in this kind of way. So I was prepared for it. The only problem is going to be is that you, the taxpayer, are going to foot the bill of this lawsuit. And it's going to come out of your pockets. And this is what we need to stop. We need to take immunity away from these individuals and hold them accountable for the job that we're paying them to do. People come out here every weekend and dump garbage on this street or now through the weekday because there is no police present down here. And there's no police present down here is because they're hanging out at big corporations, big businesses, securing them. A couple days ago, a young man lost his life at the McDonald's where we saw Prince George's County sitting. The officer said they sit there before visibility. But visibility stops when the McDonald's closes its doors. If visibility, and he was true about what he was saying, this young man's life would have not been snuffed out on the McDonald's parking lot because there would have been a uniformed police car there with its emergency lights blinking. That's a crap of bull that they try to justify why they are doing something. And just like this, a show of force with all the lieutenants, captains, and chief of police, code enforcement, coming down to enforce an illegal eviction and then towing away 8 vehicles. And it's going to cost the town of Takoma Park's taxpayers money because there will be a lawsuit. This is what needs to stop. If the taxpayers don't want to get rid of them, then we're going to have to go into the taxpayers' pocket, and maybe they'll get tired of paying all these lawsuits off and these high taxes that are being levied on them, and then they'll start doing something about getting rid of these corrupt people they put into office. Immunity for these individuals must go. And to all the auditors and cop watchers, it's time we start suing these individuals for these acts of breaking the law and not following the law. And we got to make the taxpayers understand that this is why we're going to go into your pocket, because you're not doing what you need to do to get these individuals out of office. Taking immunity away from them is the problem that we need to put into place to get rid of these individuals, because their immunity is what's keeping them doing what they're doing, because there is no accountability for their actions because of immunity. If we get rid of immunity and hold each officer accountable for his own actions, then and only then are we going to have professional, respectful law enforcement officers. And then therefore each officer can hold their commanding officer accountable for their actions when they break the law, protocol, or rules in retaliation against them. And for all you bootlickers out there, let me make this very clear. I'm not against the law enforcement officers. If you do wrong, you deserve to go to jail. Make no mistake about that with me. But that includes the individuals who are wearing those uniforms too. There's no more giving them a pass on them doing illegal acts. And you can't say, oh, my commanding officer made me or ordered me to do that. That's what the Nazis did. And what are we doing? We're searching down criminals of the Holocaust. Well, these are criminals. If you are less than a man that got to take an order from another man to commit a criminal act, you're not a man at all, or a woman. You know what I'm saying? So we have to hold each individual accountable for their actions. And when a chief or a mayor sits there and tells you to go out and arrest the individual unlawfully, if immunity wasn't there, you would tell him, I'm not going to do that. You haven't shown me any paperwork. He hasn't committed any crime under the law. I'm not going to do that. But because these people want their jobs, they'll do just what the brass tell them to do. And just like in this situation, the brass and the government has told them to stay away from Sligo Mill Road up and down that New Hampshire Avenue corridor. I've seen several officers come down Sligo Mill and then they turn at Sheridan, which is that street right there, but they don't come down this street. But yet and still, this is holding people accountable. If you had a company and your employee just come to work every day and put his feet up on his desk and watch YouTube or watch social media or stay on his phone all day and picking up a paycheck, wouldn't you get rid of him or her? And that's what needs to happen now. It is time to get rid of these loafers who's picking up a welfare check, not doing the job the taxpayers are hiring them to do, and causing them big lawsuits. And this woman, what's her name, Kate Stewart, the mayor of this town, wished to be a city council of Montgomery County. She waited until they restructure the zoning so that the same people that's put her in the office here in Takoma Park can put her into office for Montgomery County. I don't know who's running against her, really don't give a damn. But whoever it is, the people should vote for them and not this woman. And then she has the nerve to be some kind of teacher or some kind of faculty person in a school system. I would think long and hard of sending my child where this woman is a faculty member. But again, a couple days ago, a young man lost his life because our patrol cars were not out patrolling the area of Eastern Avenue and New Hampshire Avenue. You go back and you can look at the McDonald's scenes where Prince George's County was sitting. As long as their doors are open, McDonald's doors are open, they was doing visibility. But as soon as they closed their doors and locked their doors, that visibility left the parking lot of McDonald's, and a young man was gunned down and found in that parking lot. And here we are again, because no visibility on this street, trash is being dumped again on this street of Sligo Mill Road. And this message to the chief and the mayor and your city council: if you thought evicting me, illegally evicting me, was gonna run me out, not at all. Starting to rain. Let me get up in these trees and let's see how long it takes for law enforcement in Takoma Park to come. I guess they got Andy and Barney is on this call, and the other 7 or 8 officers aren't responding to anything. But as you saw, I had 25 of them come down to illegal evict me. I requested the camera footage, body camera footage, all the paperwork, which they don't want to give, but they're going to give it up. And I'm going to post it to show you just how these fluke security force in Takoma Park is. Can't put it up yet until after the criminal trial, which is June the 10th, in the Circuit Court of Montgomery County. We requested a jury trial for this illegal eviction. That's another thing, people. Let me explain something to you. When you get locked up, never stand before a judge. Stand before 12 of your peers and explain your case to them. Have your case explained to them. Never let a judge do it. Until we take immunity away from them too, never stand before a judge. Make the state pay that money for that jury trial to find you guilty, which they're going to find you guilty anyway if you stand before a judge 9 times out of 10, because the judge is in cahoots with the state attorney. Most of you don't understand that, especially in Maryland, in Montgomery County, the judge regulates the county jail. He decides how many people are going to be in the jail at a certain time. So when you get locked up, he decides, okay, give people bond or don't give people bond, even though it's your constitutional right to receive a reasonable bond in every criminal matter. When they deny you a bond or say you're not going to get a bond, they are violating your constitutional rights of denying you a right to a bond. But because the corruption is in the judicial system and there's immunity for these individuals, they get to do what they want to do and make deals. That's why we need to take away the immunity for the police, lawyers, prosecutors, and judges, and hold them accountable for their actions. Judges are supposed to explain the law to the defendant and the plaintiff. He or she is not supposed to make law from the bench, but explain the law. And this is what I'm telling you. Do never go before a one-judge tribunal, because your faith has already been made by that judge and the state attorney. You may not want to take that chance, and the public defender or your lawyer may say, no, let's do it. No, always go before 12 people. Because you may run into a person that says, no, that's not right. A person that researched. And in Montgomery County, they stack the jury. Make no mistake about that. And I'm pretty sure in other counties, I've been through Montgomery County judicial system. And the same people I've seen in other judicial cases, I sat on my case. And I thought it was funny, but I didn't make a big deal about it because I already knew what they were trying to do. I'm telling you, the judicial system is a criminal organization. And to clean it up, the first thing we have to do, taxpayers, are demand that immunity be removed from these individuals. If you want to be a judge, you make enough money to get you some insurance to cover yourself for the fluke or the illegal acts that you do. Same thing for police officers. If you're a police officer, you're making $100,000 or more. You're making, let's say, $60,000 or more. You have enough money to get insurance if you want to break the law or not follow the law. If you follow the law, you don't have to worry about it. That's what you would have to do if we take immunity away from you. Get your own insurance. And if you do that, you will have some real law enforcement, professional, honest people joining the police department. But right now, everybody knows how corrupt this system of justice is. That's why nobody wants to be a law enforcement officer now. Today, you're a public defender. Tomorrow, you're a state attorney. The next day, you're sitting on the bench as a judge. How is that so? Corruption. Corruption. You give me this guy, I'll let you have the next 3 cases. How is that possible if you're following the law and doing justice? The lawyers are wards of the court. Look it up. They're wards of the courts. Their first obligation is to the court, not to the client. And if we take away immunity, it will be towards the client. When they locked me up and I got out to file a civil matter against them, I went to every law firm surrounding the Montgomery County area. And every lawyer said they heard about my case and said, the majority of them said, I'm not going to say all of them, the majority said they read it, they looked it over, and it was illegal. But because they have clients that have to go into these courtrooms, they couldn't take my case because there would be retaliation against their clients when they walked up into the Circuit Court of Montgomery County and the District Court of Montgomery County, or Prince George's County, same thing, Circuit and District. What is that to say to a citizen to show corruption in the system? Why would there be retaliation if they did something wrong? And you know they did something wrong. But I understood what the lawyers were saying. Corruption. And it's time we take immunity away from these individuals. And why should the law enforcement officers have immunity? Why should judges have immunity? Why should prosecutors have immunity if they're following the law? The judge's job is to explain the law. Why should he have immunity for explaining the law? The prosecutor or the state attorney's job is to prosecute upon the law. So if you're following the law, why do you need immunity for following the law? Law enforcement job is to arrest individuals for criminal activity. If you're arresting somebody for criminal activity, why do you need immunity? I'm going to tell you. because that's not what they're doing. This is total corruption. You know, I'm going to show you how your government plays on citizens. The Constitution and the Declaration of Human Rights give every human being a right to travel on this planet. So when you go into the motor vehicle, you make a contract with motor vehicles. But individuals who don't make a contract are arrested and charged with driving without documentation. The Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, has held that you don't need these documents to travel in the United States. Only individuals who are in commerce have to have these documents, and that means anyone who is working or doing business traveling on the highways and byways. Not traveling, driving on the highways and byways. Look it up, a right to travel. But the police lock you up, cite you, and give you tickets, which is extortion, which they should know the law. So, what that was all about. So this is why I say immunity must go. If you want to be a police officer, you have to know what the law is before you try to enforce the law. Just like my eviction, you have to first be served eviction papers. Secondly, if I refuse to leave, then they have to take me to court, and I have to go before a judge who gives me so many days to leave the property. If he evicts me, finds in favor of them. Then, if I refuse to leave, then the sheriffs come and evict me, not the town people. But with these little cowards, they gave me 2 minutes to leave the property, and then stole 8 vehicles off the property. And now who pays for it? The taxpayers. The taxpayers. Not these clowns who did the act, but the taxpayers. And this is what needs to stop. Just like right now, they have an emergency. There's Prince George's County, there's Montgomery County. Who else? What other police force? They got the state police, but yet and still, they can't come down here to a dead-end street and take a report of a citizen of illegal dumping in this town. And they don't. The other real police, and let me tell you this: Montgomery County, Prince George's County, the sheriff department, the state, them real police departments. These little town security guards, they're not real police, and the real police know that. They have an emergency. I just came down New Hampshire Avenue from 29, and I see their officers riding around in that little area. That's where the shopping area is. But yet and still, they can't come down here. But if I was Shell, Bank of America, Marathon, they will respond. Big corporations. They don't respond now because they know the camera, and I'm pretty sure they got my telephone number. It's down here too. And their brass told them don't respond to that area. Dumping is a criminal act on public property. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be able to enforce these signs. But because of selective enforcement by these fake law enforcement officers, this is what you get. Lawlessness. Ladies and gentlemen, you're paying big money for policing, and you only have, what, 2 police officers? That you don't have enough police to respond to every citizen's phone call. What if every citizen had an emergency and they call 911 requesting police? Oh, they can't come right now because they're on another emergency. Get the fuck out of here. How much money are you paying for policing Takoma Park, taxpayers? And they have to pick and choose what emergency they go to because you don't have enough officers, or the officers you have, those 25 officers you have, are just picking up a paycheck, sitting in the office with their feet up, looking at social media or my YouTube channel. You know, is that what's going on, taxpayers? What if there was home invasion or robberies? And mind you, when I saw these officers, they were in PG County. They weren't in Montgomery County. They were in PG County riding around. But taxpayers, what if 12 of your citizens had an emergency and called 911? Are they going to be told, we have an emergency, we don't know when they will come? Come on. They know who I am, and they know I'm here with the camera. That's why they're not going to respond, but I'm going to wait right here, and maybe I'll cut this off and then restart it when one of them come up. But I'm going to be right here waiting for law enforcement, and then I'm going to call them back in a few minutes and ask them, are they still on an emergency? Everything I do, I record now. That's what every citizen need to do. Invest in a body camera. You have a cell phone. Invest in recording every time you see the blue, berry, and cherry lights on, because you may save a citizen's life, and you may even save your own life or litigation by having that camera on. So invest in a body camera and start using your cell phone camera to record these individuals, because they're getting out of hand. They're doing what they want to do. Until we take immunity away from these individuals and go after them one-on-one and hold them accountable. See, right now, let me tell you something, taxpayers. When someone sues the police department, it comes out of your pocket. Why should you be held accountable for their corrupted or disruptive, let me use the right word, attitude? Let's go that way.